Now the next thing about to do with wiring, and this is for the common layman backyard guy that likes to do it like me, not a 40,000 watt audiophile that wants to get on my channel and tell me how to do it, which they can fuck off. Thank you. Well, what I like to do, if I'm running two wires, and most wires have either a white line running through them or some other kind of identification mark on one wire if you're running a dual pair. What I like to do is generally, in my rule, is to use the since we have a positive and a negative coming out for each speaker, I generally will use the lettering or the white line lead, and this is the lead right here, as the positive. That would be this one right here, the one on my right. And this says, I don't know, 49 feet. The next thing you want to do is to mark your speaker connections. This is a very simple, easy way to do this. You take some tape and a pin, and as you're doing your wiring, the first thing, it's very easy to get mixed up with the wiring. Especially if you're running spaghetti wires all over hell's half acre and you're not sure, 2 weeks from now which one goes where. Now I know that this is the front left 6-inch speaker, which will go here. There'll also be a tweeter next to it, and this other one says front left tweeter. Now as I give myself plenty of room on the speaker wire, and I've gone down through this tunnel right here. And I've also tried to find the most cleanest spots to run the wiring. You can actually tape them in too. Taping them in is good and bad. Taping them in keeps them in place, but when you want to pull them out and not take your whole rig apart, then it becomes almost impossible. So that's a toss-up. So I run my wires where I want to. I know the amp is going to be somewhere around here, or it may be closer over here. But the deal is you want to give yourself an extra 1.5 feet of wire. I don't know how many metric inches that is. I don't know shit about metric inches or kilometers or kiloliters or whatever the fuck that is they do in Europe. We just don't do it here. I mean, it's probably a better system, but I have no idea what it means. I do everything in inches and cubic inches and yards and miles and things like that. So give yourself an extra 1.5 feet. Because if your wiring is too short, it won't grow longer. But if it's longer than you need, you can always cut it down. You've got more variables that you can do. Now this wiring will run over here. And the next tip I want to give you on wiring is that if you've ever done this before, you've gotten yourself some really nice speakers, and you put them in the front or the back or wherever, and you've run your wiring down the sidelines, down the quarter panels here. All of a sudden, you turn on the whole system and you realize that one speaker is sounding real shitty. It's not coming through right. And you go, oh my God, I spent all this money and one speaker's bad. Chances are that speaker is totally fine. This happened to me more than once, and this is the tip of the day as far as speakers. A lot of times when you put your wiring in, now let's just say that is a screw hole right there, which it isn't, but let's just say it was. Alright, you'll put your wiring right there, you won't worry about it. You'll put your sill on, and you'll take your self-tapping screw and go right through there. The thing is that the self-tapping screw will go through the wiring, and it will ground the lead. If you hit the lead, which you'll hit the lead every damn time with my luck, and it will ground to the truck. So what you basically got is a wire that's compromised, and you've got a lead power source that is grounding out partially against the frame when it shouldn't be grounding at all. That's why you want to make sure when you run your wires, run them away from any holes like here, or it depends on the model of your car. I mean, all cars or bikes they're all different. But anywhere that you're going to run screws to put your interiors back together, mainly it happens along these, because a lot of people run their wiring along the bottom sills, which is a good thing. But always make sure that you stay away from any kind of screw holes. Make sure that that the wiring is not involved in that. Now I'm going to go do my next side for the front. And as I have a general plan about how this is going to go, but what I will do is I will have to modify things because this bazooka is a little too big. It's a little too long. Now I think my wife or girlfriend would disagree with that. There's nothing too big or too long. But in my case, with this bazooka tube, I may have to do a few modifications. Anyway, we continue with my stereo thing, and if you find these videos boring, and I guess you could, maybe 5 years from now my son will look at this and say, you know, look Dad, he asked me today. He said, Dad, you don't listen to loud music, why are you putting a good stereo in there? I said, look, listen son, shut up and get a job, get the fuck out of my house. And that immediately shuts up an 18-year-old. I don't need anyone telling me why I'm putting a stereo into a rig. I don't need anyone telling me why are you buying good quality components when you don't listen to 50 Cents or Flo Rida. That was pretty good, Flo Rida in Tropic Jungle. Or, you know, some of these other rap groups. Okay, we continue.